So, you've watched my videos on active voice. You've watched my video on passive voice. You've also watched my video on middle voice. But what if we put them together and use all three voices in English at the same time? In a story, in a paragraph. Do you want to know what that looks like? Well, stick around and find out. Hi everyone, my name is Liam and this is Grammar Simple, the channel that makes English grammar simple. Today we are talking about the three voices in English together. Let's get started. Hi guys, just a short interruption. Please take a second and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. Okay, thanks so much. Back to the video. Okay, Voices in English, Part 4. Active, passive, and middle voice. Let's go. Number one, let's first do a quick review of the three voices in English. In English grammar, a voice is the form of the verb indicating the relation or relationship between the participants, usually subject and object, in a narrated event, a story. Let's talk about active voice first. In English, the active voice is used when the subject is the doer of the action. This means the subject does the action, the subject performs the action. For example, dogs bark. Subject, action. Subject, verb. Who barks? Dogs. Cats meow. The plane arrived at 6 p.m. What arrived? The plane. The plane does the action. She sneezed. Batman always catches the Joker. Of course. So the subject does the action, and when there is an object, the object receives the action. There does not always need to be an object. She sneezed. Subject, verb. No object. If you want to know more about subjects, objects, transitive verbs, intransitive verbs, I go into that in more detail in the full video about the active voice. Watch that video here. Okay, let's keep going. So, Batman always catches the Joker. Who does the action? Who catches the Joker in this case? Batman. Who is the action done to? In other words, who receives the action? Who is caught? The Joker. So Batman does the action. He catches the Joker. Who receives the action? Who is caught? The Joker. Okay, is caught. Interesting. This leads us to our next voice in English, passive voice. Okay, let's talk about passive voice. In passive voice, the subject is not the doer of the action. The subject is the receiver of the action. So it's like the opposite of active voice. This means the subject receives the action or experiences the action. For example, dogs are loved by humans. Active voice, humans love dogs. Passive voice, dogs are loved by humans. So, who receives love? Dogs. The passive voice is formed by using the verb be with the past participle. Change the verb be into the tense you want to use. I go into this in much more detail in my video about passive voice. You can watch that video here. For example, English is spoken all over the world. Okay? This is present simple, right? So you can change the verb from present to past, perfect, present perfect, everything. Yeah, watch that video. So, in this example, we don't need to say by people because we know that people speak English, not dogs or cats or airplanes or rocks, right? But you could say English is spoken by people all over the world. That's okay too. So the focus here is English, the subject, not who speaks English. That's the difference between active voice and passive voice. Okay, middle voice. In English, the middle voice is used when the subject is both the doer and receiver of the action. So the subject does the action and the same subject receives the action. So this means the subject performs the action and the subject also receives the action. In other words, the subject is the doer of the action, but they receive it at the same time. Okay, so both of these things happen at the same time, not at different times. Okay, this is my cat. Her name is Norma Jean. She is super cool. I mean, look at her. She knows she's super cool. Okay, the cat licked itself. You've seen cats clean themselves, right? My cat doesn't lick me, not very often, but she does clean herself. So the cat licked itself. Or I could say Norma Jean licked herself as well. So who did the cat lick? The cat. Itself or herself. There we go. The subject performs the action. The subject receives the action at the same time. Other examples. I saw myself in the mirror. She makes herself a cup of coffee every morning. He bought himself a brand new car. Tesla cars drive themselves. Okay, now let's get to the main point of this video, mixing the voices together. In narratives, stories, it is common to use all three voices. However, active voice is definitely the most common. For example, in novels, books. But in news, for example, it's common to see active voice, passive voice, and middle voice. When you read a novel or listen to someone tell you a story, you might hear all three voices. For example, let's talk about a possible news bulletin, a possible news speech about something that happened. A bomb was left at a local train station today. A suspect has been apprehended by police. Officers found the man nearby, inside a clothing shop. According to police, he was talking to himself. Mental illness is suspected. Okay, a very short paragraph, a very short story about something that happened, right? A bomb was left in a train station. Somebody left the bomb. Maybe we don't know who. There is a suspect that the police think may have left the bomb. And according to the police, he was a little bit crazy. So maybe we suspect that he was not mentally okay, right? So you can see here in green, in yellow, in purple, and in green. These are the three different voices in English. Oops. Green, yellow, purple, and green again. Can you recognize the three voices? Pause the video and see if you can guess the three voices. If you can't, let's keep going. I'll help you. So, the first sentence, a bomb was left at a local train station today. Was left. Who is receiving the action in this sentence? A bomb. A bomb is subject or object? Let's go back. A bomb was left at a local train station today. Subject or object? It is the subject. A suspect has been apprehended by police. So, a suspect has been apprehended by police. Who is receiving the action? The police or the suspect? Suspect. So, is the suspect a subject or object? Subject. So, what voice is being used here in these two examples? Do you know? Take a look again. Is it active voice, passive voice, or middle voice? It is passive voice. Remember, with passive voice, the subject is the receiver of the action. Okay, next sentence. Officers found the man nearby, inside a clothing shop. We have subject, verb, object. Who is performing the action? Officers. Who is receiving the action? The man. So, what voice is being used here? Officers found the man nearby inside a clothing shop. What do you think? Active voice, passive voice, middle voice? It is active voice. Remember, active voice, the subject performs the action and the object receives the action. Next example. According to police, he was talking to himself. Not good. Don't do that. Actually, I do that sometimes. Maybe I'm crazy. Probably. You tell me. Okay, so who is performing the action? He was talking to himself. Who was performing the action? He, or the suspect. Who is receiving the action? He, the suspect. So, what voice is being used here? He was talking to himself. Middle voice. Remember, middle voice, the subject performs the action, and the subject receives the action. Mental illness is suspected. Who is receiving the action? Or I should say, what is receiving the action? Look for the subject. Mental illness. And what is the subject? Mental illness. So, what voice is being used here? Mental illness is suspected. And because we have been talking about the police, we can infer, we can guess that mental illness is suspected by the police, right? So, this is passive voice. Remember, passive voice, the subject is the receiver of the action. Okay, guys, hopefully that was a useful comparison video for you. If it was, like this video, and since you have watched this far, you might as well subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. Let me know your questions and comments in the comments section below, and any ideas you have for future videos. I always enjoy getting inspiration from you. Okay. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. And remember, keep practicing your English. Don't give up. You can do it. My name is Liam. This is Grammar Simple, the channel that makes English grammar simple. I will see you in a future video. Bye for now.